Welcome to Mind Your Business with Cyrus Webb
and Earl Hall.
There are things every business owner talks about.
These two business owners and friends
talk about those things and so much more.
Get ready to laugh and learn. Mind Your Business starts now.
And hello, everyone, and welcome back to Mind Your Business. I'm Cyrus Webb. We'll be joined here in just a minute by Earl Hall. In fact, he's messaging me right now. This is episode number 3 of Mind Your Business. Glad you all can be with us. There is Earl. Going to go ahead and bring him in. If you guys are new to us here, welcome again as we are celebrating episode number 3 of our new show. Earl, how you doing, man?
Hey, buddy. How's it going, man?
Going really good. I guess we're not canceled because I didn't get an email. Did you get an email saying that we were off the air? I guess it's okay for us to...
No, I didn't. I didn't get an email.
Okay, well, you know, it is the weekend, so maybe not. Well, Earl, excited about today's broadcast. I've really been enjoying these, and you and I have talked about this. And hello to all of you. If you guys are new to us here, to Earl or myself, welcome to you. Make sure you guys do click that arrow that's right here, that drop down arrow. Make sure you're following Earl and myself, as well as everyone else who's joining us as well. Make sure you guys continue to network with them too. But Earl, so far, man, as we're getting ready for episode number 3, I really have liked the way this is kind of built on each other. Hello to all of you. Appreciate you guys coming in. So today's topic is one that you and I were recently talking about, and it's one I think that is really interesting, and that is about competition or inspiration. And I want our audience to really get this. Hello to you. I think it's Big. Thank you so much for the follow. Appreciate that. This is an interesting topic because I think, for a lot of people, I grew up different. I tell people, I'm just a little country boy from Mississippi. We wanted everybody to win, Earl. That's just the way we were. But when it comes to the idea of competition, right, it is one of those things that I think that can be the death of a lot of people in business, but also in friendship. You and I have talked about that. Yeah. How is your idea, or I'm curious, when you think of competition, is that something you've ever felt or experienced as you've been building your business?
Well, not as I've been necessarily building my business. I experienced that a lot more in high school, like playing sports and things of that nature. Competition to me has just really been about myself. How much better can I get at what it is that I'm doing? Because no one can beat me being me. No one can do that, right? And I say that to people all the time. No one can beat you being you. You are the best you that will ever be. And I try to encourage people, don't ever try and be like someone else.
Right.
Because you're going to come across mildly as phony, and not someone that can be trusted, for lack of a better word. And people can sense and know when you're trying to be like someone else, or sound like someone else, or things like that. So competition for me has always been about, mostly, how is it that I can improve? Because I am the person that's in competition with myself.
Yeah. I feel the same way. I chose this. This was my topic that I chose, hence my positioning on the show this week. But I chose it because I posed it as a question when you and I were going back and forth with these early. Mine was competition or inspiration, because I do think there is a difference.
Absolutely.
I totally agree with what you said. I feel like I'm trying to be better than I was yesterday. That's kind of my thing too. But I am inspired by other people. People who've watched me on any platform, though there are 5 people I talk about quite a bit. Martha Stewart, Anna Wintour, Sean P. Diddy Combs. Of course, you have people, even, if I'm truly honest, Jeff Bezos, who I'm wildly, enamored with what he's been able to build. I think is one of those things. And Oprah, of course. Being from Mississippi and all that she's been able to do, I'm inspired by them, but I've never begrudged them. Oh, Melissa called us great men.
Yeah, hey, Melissa.
Thank you, Melissa. I know you meant to say that to me, but you don't want to leave Earl out. So I appreciate that. That's very kind.
See what we are like 4 minutes in, and he's starting with me.
That was very diplomatic of you, Melissa, but I knew what you meant. I knew what you meant, Melissa. I knew what you meant. But I do think there's a difference, right, Earl, in being inspired by someone and their rise and what they're doing than feeling some kind of begrudging way about them, right?
Yeah, because you can't look at their success as saying that you can't have success.
Yeah.
And so many times I think that's what comes into play with people that want to compete or are jealous. We can tag that word in there as well. It's like there is no lack in this world. And just because someone else is successful does not hinder your success for what it is that you want to accomplish. And at the end of the day, you know, and I'll say this till the cows come home, your success or your failure is your fault. It is no one else's. And I kind of qualify that by saying if you can point to something else that you're going to blame for you not succeeding, then that thing or that person has control over you, right? And then if you can turn that inward and say, okay, this is all up to me and what it is that I put into this, then you will only look at yourself for the accomplishments that you make, and you will push yourself even that much, you know, that much harder. But competition is that thing, and I like how you added in inspiration with that as well, because I think you and I inspire each other, but we've never competed with each other. We're just two business owners that happen to be, you know, pretty close friends.
Right.
You know, but I applaud every single day the same way you do me with the things that I do. Of course, you make fun of mine more than, you know, I probably make fun of yours, but you know, that's, you know, that's a personal flaw. But
okay.
But
the inspiration,
but the inspiration goes both ways with as far as inspiring when inspiration is needed, and then also being that friend to be there to kind of say, wait a minute, you might want to pump the brakes here a bit, you know, or whatever. But just dealing strictly with competition, I think, you know, people talk about a healthy competition. I'm not real sure what that means, because in my mind, and this is just in my mind, I think if you're competing with someone, there's almost a sense of feeling less than yourself in some instances, you know.
Yeah, that is a really good point. And I think we should bring in the friendship aspect of this too, Earl, because, you know, part of the reason why Earl did not want to do this show initially, because Earl and I have almost daily conversations about a wide variety of things, business being part of it. But because he's the one that supposedly has a life and I have, you know, because of where I live, he makes fun of me not really having a life. You know, it's not really so much on the personal aspect. However, I think, Earl, the audience would agree, and I want our audience to really think about this. We're talking about this. The show is called Mind Your Business, but unfortunately, in friendships, in relationships, in families, competition seeps in there as well. You know, someone wants to be seen as a more successful cousin or child or that kind of thing, or will feel like they have to show something. Earl and I were just talking recently about The Greatest Showman and this whole thing about Barnum in the movie wanting to be, you know, what everyone else, you know, wanted, you know, as far as success goes and all of that, and how that can be detrimental. So I hope our audience see that this we're talking about business, but it really does show all aspects of life. And Earl and I, knowing each other now for over a decade, being friends for over a decade, there's never been a time I felt any competition with Earl. I mean, we talk about each other's successes and all of that, but as far as me saying, why does he get to do this or all of that, I've never felt that. Never felt that at all. And I think that is something, to your point, Earl, I think I take it in a different direction. You talked about healthy competition. I then question motive. Because if you're doing something to one-up someone else, are you really doing it because you want to do it, or because your audience wants you to do it? Or are you doing it just because, to be able to show you, this person, that you can do anything they can do or do it better? I think that, to me, goes to motivation. What are your thoughts about that?
I mean, it definitely does go to motivation, because, like, if I want to accomplish something, then I want to accomplish it. Yeah. But if I want to accomplish something because I'm seeing someone else do it, well, why am I actually doing that?
Yeah.
Well, why am I actually going down that road? And that person, God bless them, they're successful at what it is that they're doing, and they've made a certain plan and followed a certain path. Well, why am I following their path instead of my own?
Yeah.
You know, and I think so many times when people get into this competition thing, Cyrus, I think it's one of the reasons why so many businesses are commoditized. Because, oh, well, they're doing this, we're going to do that. They're charging less, I'm going to charge less. They're offering this package, I'm going to offer this package. Well, now you just look like everyone else. Now, if everyone does that, you've commoditized yourself. I've talked about this a lot, like in the voiceover industry that I work in, as far as being a commodity and having to separate yourself. Well, you cannot separate yourself or have a unique selling proposition if you're not unique.
Yeah. Such a great point. For those that are just tuning in, you all are watching Mind Your Business. I'm Cyrus Webb, joined by Earl Hall. That's him down there. Today we're talking, this is episode number 3, and we're talking about, the topic is competition or inspiration. It's about perspective. And that is the key. You know, are you competing with someone, or are you inspired by someone? And I think there is definitely a difference. And I think there can be risk and rewards, you know, depending on what the answer to that is. And again, we're talking about business, but it can go on a personal aspect as well. An example came up as you were just talking, and that I thought I mentioned Sean Combs. The reason why Diddy is someone that inspires me so much, he was just willing to just go left. You know, talk about the saying, dance when, you know, like no one's watching. Diddy will dance like no one's watching. You don't know what he's doing, but he's just out there doing his thing. Yeah. Now, I'm inspired by his work ethic, but the parties and all of that, I don't want to do all of that. I'm not good with 5 people, let alone 500 people. You know, I don't want that. Right. I don't even know how to swim. You know, I mean, so that would be stupid for me to say I want that life, because I don't want that life. But I am inspired by the work ethic, you know, and the passion he has.
Well, you just brought something up right there. You just said you don't want that life. Yeah. And it's one of those things where, what is the life that you want as that individual? It's like, if you want someone else's life, what does that really say about you? Right. And you carving this out and creating it the way that you want it to be created. You know, as far as following someone else and following that path, you got to get off of that. I think we all, any of us that have suffered from that or do suffer from that, really looking inward and seeing, what is it that you want? Not based on what you see as you scroll through Instagram or Facebook or whatever. Do you really want that? Is that, you know, it can get kind of deep, right?
Yeah. You brought that up. I want to say, but I have to say hello to Cindy. Cindy, you found me over here, and I'm so glad. Cindy, Prairie Dodgers. Cindy, my other page was, I don't know what happened. Well, it's a story. I don't know what to tell you. But I'm so glad you found us over here, and welcome to Mind Your Business. It's a new weekly show I'm hosting with my friend Earl Hall here, talking about business and life. And today we're talking about competition, or is it inspiration? All about perspective. You said something just now, Earl, and again, this goes to even growing up, me being a simplistic, and I joke about that a lot, but I really am simplistic. But the fact that people could be wearing Nikes or Adidas and all of that other stuff, I didn't have that stuff. I'm not even sure my parents could afford that at that point, but I never felt less than because they had it, and I never looked at them and said, oh, I'm mad at them because they're able to wear this or that. First of all, I've never known names, so I probably didn't even know what they were wearing. Same is true today. I probably didn't even know what it was. But I just know I never felt that way. But I bring that up.
Adidas.
Okay. Yeah. Is this a sponsor? I just want to know. Are we getting paid for this? Because is this sponsored?
Can I grab my Nikes? I got Nikes. I got Timberland.
Is this a sponsored post here? I just want to know. Am I getting a check? That's what I need. But I bring that up because of what you just said about social media, Earl. How much do you think? I know this was here before, right? The whole thing about competition, all that was. But how much you brought up social media made me think. See, I'm different, but I see an ad of someone with a car and that doesn't do anything for me. It doesn't make me feel. I feel nothing, nothing. But do you think social media has kind of amplified that, Earl? Of I gotta get that, or I want that person has that. You know, do you think
it's amplified to the extent that that individual allows it to be amplified, right? So I'm not going to blame social media. It's like, if you're that certain type of person, it's just going to be amplified. It's kind of like they say, you know, what money does to people. It just amplifies who it is that they are. Social media just amplifies who it is that you are. And so if it is something that you feel maybe less than about yourself, and I think that is a big problem. I don't know if it's becoming a bigger problem, or if it's always been there, or if it's now just being amplified so much because of social media. But people look and scroll through Instagram or whatever. Oh, well, they have that. I should have that. You know, well, why? I mean, why should you have that? You know, and it's like people talk about the Kardashians and whoever else, you know, they want to live that life.
Yeah.
And it's do you want to go put on a sex tape and, you know, and have all that come up? Do you want to have the issues going on inside of that family with gender and everything else? I mean, people are themselves are going to be who they are, but is that what you want to have to go through to get what they got? You know, I look at someone like a Tyler Perry, you know, he owns an island, you know, stuff like that. And people may be jealous of like Tyler Perry and the success that he has. Mm-hmm. But did you want a father that beat you and put you down your entire life? It's like the things that people have accomplished, a lot of it does go all the way back to how they were raised in their childhood and their inspirations and things like that. And so you have to really ask yourself, if you want what someone has, do you want to have to go through what they went through to get it?
I like that. And so that brings up an interesting thing too, as you were just talking, because, you know, bringing up certain people, I do believe, looking at it from the opposite side, there are some people who want you to be jealous of them. There are some people who want you to look at them and say, you know, look at what I got, you know, and look at what you got. You know what I'm saying? Right. But, you know, for me, as someone who, I've just always been content. You know, I mean, I'm just a person who's just content. So I never, you know, again, going back to cars and stuff, I go back to that because that's the thing people always, you know, seem to be defined by whatever. But, and I just think, you know, to me, I look at notes. I look at, you know, when I see houses, I'm thinking about mortgages. I mean, you know, that's where my mind goes. It's like, I don't want that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm very good, you know, with what I got over here. I don't need to have, because when you start getting into all that stuff, there are more headaches that come with that, right?
Oh my gosh, yeah. Biggie had it right. More money, more problems.
Yeah.
I mean, for real. I mean, if you allow that to happen. But I think in my younger days, you know, in a couple of days here, I'll be 53 years old. But in my younger days, you know, I was more materialistic and you know, I always wanted to, you know, own a Corvette, you know, and something like that. It's like, but the older I get, it's like, I don't need all that stuff anymore. I really don't. The older I get, the more I think, as you are, like you use the word content, I think the more content I am. You know, I think everybody generally wants to be comfortable, you know, but even that can be defined, because if your comfort means you have to live in a 4,000 square foot home, well, that's a lot, you know, it's, you know, but it really starts depending on who you are as an individual and what is actually going to make you happy. And if I can tell you this, money will not make you happy. Now, I used to say, well, give me the money and I'll figure that out, right? When I didn't have money, it's like, well, no, I want the money. Well, I can tell you, I've been broke and now I'm very comfortable. And money does not mean peace. It does not mean happiness. That has to be defined by us as individuals, and it is never based on stuff. I can tell you that unequivocally.
Yeah, and that's a really good point. You know, even going back to the topic of being competition or inspiration, to me, it all goes back to the why.
Yeah.
It's all about the why. I mean, for me, again, I look for examples because, you know, I tell people, and Earl, I've said this to you and to some of our other friends on the show, I don't want to be the smartest person in the room. I like questioning. I like being able to ask people, well, what do you think about this? Or what do you, you know,
well,
because
you will question people.
How can you grow?
You will question.
Well, I like questioning because
you do.
I like to know. I like to learn. You know, I want to know, you know, well, you know, why did you think that? You know, why did you think that way? Or what made you think of this? What made you do that? I mean, because I take all of that in.
Yeah.
And I think for myself, that's why I can honestly say, I don't know anyone I've ever been jealous of. I can honestly say I've never gone to bed upset with someone else's success.
Oh my goodness.
You know, because for one thing,
yeah.
How crazy is that? I mean, they don't know. You know, they don't know what I'm feeling. You know, so it's like I've never gone to bed with that, but I have gone to bed inspired by people. Like, wow, such and such did this. That means I can do it. I can do it. You know, that
because
I
you can
felt
learn
that.
from all those. I mean,
Yeah.
we learn from all of those people that do inspire us. I mean,
Yeah.
I know the person's name you mentioned the most. You listed 5, but it's always Martha Stewart.
Yeah.
You know, your Martha Stewart book looks like probably my grandmother's Bible. You know, it's marked up. You know, pages might be a little bit off,
Yeah.
but it's like you go back and you can learn from people, not to be those people, but to see, well, wait a minute, how did they do what they did, and get ideas from that. And I see that with you every day about, you know, the ideas that you come up with. You know, but to have someone that you're utterly jealous of and that you want to compete against, it says more about you as the individual than it does them.
Yeah, such a great point. And I think that's what I hope our audience takes away from this is the why. We all want to be better in business and in life.
Yes.
Right? So I think, again, to find examples that can help us with that, I think are great. But to try to tear down people, and we see it in the comments all the time. Earl, you and I talk about this. People and in fact, I had an interview. This is not a plug, but if you guys aren't listening to Conversations Live, it is on iHeartRadio. You guys can find it there. But I had a great interview with Lazy Bone of Bone Thugs and Harmony. And I asked him about social media and his success. And he said to me, the thing that irks him the most about social media is that everyone feels like they're an authority in your life. He said he can post something and they will go off left on something that has nothing to do with what he posted about, trying to tell him what he's doing wrong, what he should do if he wants to blow up. And this is a Grammy Award-winning artist, by the way. And these people with private profiles and 7 followers,
right?
What he needs to be doing to blow up. You know what I'm saying? I mean, but it goes to that thing of the why of it all, right? It's one thing to go into someone and say, I'm inspired by you, you motivate me, you know, I want to have that type of success. I think that's a totally different thing than saying, I want your life. You know what I'm saying? Or I deserve that life more than you deserve it, you know, because I'm more talented, you know. You hear that all the time, you know, this person sings better, this person looks better, this person is, you know, a better whatever. And it's like, okay, well, evidently that's not enough. because that person is there and you're over here, you know. So there's something else. And to me, it all goes back to motivation and the why.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, there's so many people out there talking about different business owners that are out there and stuff like that. It's like, oh, they're a scam or they're a scam. It's like, I don't believe most things are scams nowadays. I think it used to be a lot more prevalent back in the day, but anytime like someone maybe doesn't have success or whatever, or, you know, they want to talk, well, oh, that person doesn't know what they're talking about. Okay, what's your YouTube address?
Right.
You know, what is your Instagram handle? How are you helping your audience or your community? But you're coming over here into mine, you know, for whatever reason, you know, to, you know, just kind of pick. And that's the thing I think that gets both you and I is you're not doing anything, but you want to sound like you're an authority and what's going on over here.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And it's one of those things that, again, it's a broad thing. And unfortunately, it doesn't just stay in business. It does seep into personal, you know, and it damages relationships. And like I said, for Earl and I have never even had a legitimate argument about anything. No. You know, I mean, after a decade, which anyone who's known me that long really should deserve a medal. If we're still speaking, you know, but I think the thing is, because there's a mutual respect there, and there's never been this thing of, because when I met Earl was a lot farther along than I was. And I respected Earl from the very beginning, but it never felt like, oh, I want that. Earl's using a green screen. I want to use a green screen. You know, why does he get to use a green screen? I mean,
yes, Melissa. Yes, Melissa.
Melissa, you know, there's this new feature here on Instagram, remove and block during lives. I'm just bringing that up in case you didn't know. Next time you go live.
Resulted to threatening. Oh my God. Resort to threaten a nice young woman.
The next time you go live, Melissa.
What's up, Brandon?
But I think that's the whole thing. But that's the thing. It's like we have fun, you know. But the whole thing is about moving forward. It's not about, you know, trying to bring somebody else down. And I think that's the whole thing, you know, for our audience, or I know for myself, and both of us feel that way too. Anything else is not even helpful. It's not productive. Yeah. And it's not going to move you any further. It's just like these people who start these beefs to get attention. Oh. You know, in the comment section, you know, they say something to get a rise out of you. You know, it's like, what do you really get out of that other than this, you know, being looked at as someone who is not very savory, by the way, you know, so that does not make you look better. I think that's the whole thing that people have to deal with. So for me, the big takeaway for this that I hope our audience takes away, Earl, is this. You know, be confident enough in what you bring to the table, and be inspired by those around you, and choose to find someone that you can inspire instead of trying to bring somebody else down. It's not a competition. It really is a race. We all are in a race. And the cool thing is we can all win. Yeah. Maybe at different times, you know, but we can all have an opportunity to win. Earl, your final thoughts? Absolutely.
It's when it comes down to the whole competition thing, I have to go back and just say, look, this is about you and what it is that you want to accomplish, how it is that you want to accomplish that, how you want to show up in the world. And the only way that anyone can legitimately show up in the world is being 100% authentic to who it is that they are, flaws and all. Yeah. Flaws and all. You know, Cyrus has a tremendous number of flaws, but you know, but I love him yet and still. But no, seriously though, it's like it is about that self-confidence, that self-love that you have for yourself, that you can cheer on everyone else that is winning. Yeah. Knowing that does not ever hinder you. Just know that. Such a great point. Well, we thank you all for watching this episode of Mind Your Business. Next week, Earl will be taking the lead. His topic will be, how does money motivate your business decisions? Let's go. This one should be good. Yeah. It shall be. This one should be good, you know, because as I said, notice I use the word modest. You didn't hear him say modest one time. I use the word modest several times in this show. You know, modest, you know, you know, one of us did not. That's all I'm saying. It's not a competition. It's who used it. It's funny. It's funny the person who wants to elevate that, but okay. Well, I mean, I'm up here. So, so, you know, that's what I have to do. But we thank you all for watching this week's episode of Mind Your Business. If you guys have missed the previous episode of Mind Your Business, make sure you guys do check out my page and Earl's page. Earl is at Earl House Studio. Again, make sure you guys click that drop down arrow. Make sure you're following Earl and myself. And Earl, until next week, we'll see you all next time. See you guys. You all take care.